Hello everyone, I'm Lily, and today we're going to be talking about just guns in general in Phantom Forces. So recently, if you've been keeping up with my channel, you will see that my videos, I've covered many different guns, mostly sniper rifles, but a good range of guns. And I've seen quite a bit of comments that talk about guns being overpowered. The comments also cover a wide range of guns from the Groza 4 to the AWS, you name it. There's so many different guns that people have called OP. And personally, I've never really thought that any of the guns were overpowered in the game, and as I've been going through the process of maxing out all the weapons, I've gotten to use a lot of different guns in the game, and none of the guns seem to be overpowered at all. I'm really curious as to why people think certain guns are OP, because when you really look at the stats and in-game use and the effectiveness of the guns in question, it's really not OP. So take for example the BFG. For a long time, and even still today, people have thought that it was OP just because of its damage stats. They didn't look at anything else. Highest damage, therefore it's OP. Or at least that's the only thing that I could think that would be considered overpowered about it, because besides that, the sniper rifle doesn't really have much going for it. The damage is good. That's it. It's extremely slow in different aspects, and I've actually done 2 other videos about the BFG specifically. One directly talks about why the BFG is indeed not overpowered, but even then in the comments there, people still thought that it was. It wasn't a controversial opinion, but it was definitely something that you could see people were split on. One reason why people probably think that guns are OP is because they die a lot to people who are using that certain gun. For example, the notorious M60, which used to be the rank 0 unlock for LMGs, was commonly called OP by a lot of people in the community before it was nerfed. I don't really think it needed a nerf. I used it and I really didn't see what everyone was complaining about. And so in reality, the M60 wasn't even really overpowered at all. People just died to it a lot because a lot of people were using it. It's a rank 0 unlock. That means that anyone has it who plays the game. And the logic that someone being able to do very well with the gun, making that gun OP, is just silly. Take the MP5 out of 10. It is so bad that I rate it 5 MP5s out of 10. Silly jokes aside, if I do really well with the gun, it's not OP. I'm just a good player. Even if a gun is OP, someone using it isn't going to magically turn them into some godlike player either. And very rarely when I play do I see other people going off. Like, I don't understand. People have commented a lot about when they're using a gun and doing good with it makes the gun good, or that guns are OP. And I feel like if these guns were really like that, I'd see a lot more people who were not playing like mediocre. Of course, there's going to be on the leaderboard, you're going to have your people at the top, you're going to have people at the bottom, but I don't know if it's just me, but I rarely see people get above like a 2 KDR. People, like, I really just don't see people getting over 2 or 3 KDRs. So when you have that as the bar, I just don't see it happening unless, you know, there's spawn killing and other factors, but, you know, you see with other factors, even, like, the gun doesn't play a whole lot much into that. Another thing that people need to consider is game impact. I kind of mentioned it a little bit just now, but for impact you have to think, does the gun in question have big impact in the sway of the game? Does using the gun cause your team to succeed? Does it give your team an advantage? Does it give your team, like, does it help your team to win? Does it make your, like, does it directly contribute to your team winning as opposed to you using a different gun? And the answer to that will almost always be no. A gun could have some quirky balances to it, maybe there's a bit of bad balancing, and hey, maybe there is a gun that is OP in the game, but chances are that someone using it isn't going to be swaying the game in favor of their team and probably isn't having huge impact. Phantom Forces is a team game, even though teamwork isn't really a big factor, to say the least. And the only time where I could see someone, like, say a gun that is a better gun is helping you to do better, the only place where that might be helpful is team deathmatch, and even then, it's not that impactful. There's so much more to Phantom Forces than weapon choice, and when it comes down to it, a gun being OP could not matter at all if it's placed in the hands of people who are mediocre or decent at best. And I really do understand why people think that there are weapons that are overpowered and whatnot, but once you really take a look at it, the guns that you're talking about just really aren't. Like I mentioned, people have commented the AWS. Again, there's no way that that is overpowered. Not at all. I've already gone in depth as to why I think that gun actually even sucks. And then the Groza 4 was mentioned a couple times. I don't even know where to begin, how you could think that it's overpowered. I understand the BFG a little bit because it's powerful, but even then, I've mentioned this many times before, the good damage that you have on the BFG can be replicated on other sniper rifles without the huge drawbacks. It's really not that great of a gun. So I don't understand why people come out and they just call the BFG OP. I'd love to hear reasoning behind why guns are OP. And I feel like most of the time that people think, like, oh, this gun's OP, that gun's OP, everything is OP. I think that the case is there's maybe one aspect of the gun that maybe wasn't balanced the best. Like the Stevens DB, for example, I pointed out the range on that shotgun could be really, really extended. You can get some good range kills out of that shotgun, whereas in the game, the shotguns should play a role of being close quarters. That range is really kind of odd to have for that. And the Stevens DB isn't overpowered, and I never even, I didn't say that, I made sure to point that out in the video, but it is just a case of game balance. However, most of this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Do you think any guns are OP in the game? If so, why? I'd like to hear something more than just, I did good with the gun, therefore it's OP. That's all for today, and thanks for watching.